Sorry about that, y'all. I did a vlogging boo-boo. I forgot to put my phone on airplane mode, so I got a phone call, which knocked me out. Anyway, I'm not saying that the desire to escape is not there, but, and divorce happens. Shit, I know. I've been divorced, but you don't have to be cruel, right? And a lot of the times, the things that I hear are mostly because you look fine on the outside, right? There's no broken bones. There's no... Half the time, people like me, or more than half the time, aren't using... I used a walker at work because I couldn't carry all of that crap that I had to take to work with me on my arms. So I used that as kind of my push cart, but I also used it to help kind of keep me solid because I would walk a little wobbly. And then also the falling down part. I worked on the second floor and we had a glass balcony, and it's irrational, but I just had this horrible like vision that I would do one of my classic just fall downs and go crashing through that glass balcony to the second floor and die. Okay, that's how my mind works. So I did use my walker for the last couple years at work. But in the beginning, I didn't need to use the walker. I started using it because I'd noticed, okay, my shoulders are killing me. And I was like, well, then stop carrying all that shit. You have to stop carrying all that shit. So then I would make my husband carry it all because we worked at the same place. But, he was getting older. That wasn't good for him. He had an old neck injury. So we had this walker and it worked out to be the perfect thing. But, most of the time, we aren't using canes. We aren't using walkers. I can't afford a scooter. If I could, my whole world would change. And that's the sad part, is that a lot of us, I want to go to Disney World with my grandson. I don't think I could fly on an airplane, but the dream is there. But once I got there, I can't walk. There's no way. I mean, I can't walk any part of a distance, because the minute I start walking more than, I'm going to say 10 minutes, that's when it already feels like I'm walking through deep sand, but then it becomes like walking through wet cement, you know what I mean? And there's a good chance I wouldn't get back to wherever the hell I came from. So, but for the most part, we look fine. So a lot of the times, spouses, relatives, friends, or whatever are just like, they're making it up, or they're being a hypochondriac, or whatever the case, and I understand why they would think that way, because before you become chronically ill, you have no concept of what that lifestyle is like. You have no concept of how that feels. It's kind of like going from parenthood, or no kids, to kids. And everybody would always tell me before I had kids, oh, your whole life is going to change when you have kids. There's no other love like it. And I'd be like, whatever. I mean, I loved kids already, like I always have, and I always wanted to be a mother. But I had no conception of that kind of love, right? I was like, yeah. And of course you love your kids. Duh. But then once you become a mother, it is like, it's just a whole other kind of love. It really is. And it's something that you can't conceive of if you haven't experienced it. So I know that's why it's so hard for people that are not chronically ill, I know it's hard for them to understand, you know, what do you mean you can't fold the laundry? Literally, a child could do that, you know. And it's like, it's not that I can't, like, I know how to do it, but it's very painful for me to do it. And I don't know about anyone else, but for me, and I think it's part of the grieving process, I got to a point when I stopped being able to use my arms the way that I want to, like folding laundry. Remember, I said in my video who I used to be. And by the way, I'm going to make a different video because I went back and I watched that and I was like, all I talked about was like cleaning my bedroom. Like, that's not all about who I used to be. That video was more like my last memories of feeling well. So I'm going to change the title of that video and make a new video about who I used to be as a whole person years before I ever got sick and all that, because I don't want to give y'all the feeling that, well, that's kind of just a single-celled animal over there that all she just wanted to do was clean her bedroom. No, there's a lot more to Nani than that. But I do, that's why I give as much grace as I can, because I understand that it's hard to conceive. You know, one of the things that, and I'm going to compile the list, I may have to write them down, but I do want to get the whole list out. But one of the things that we hear a lot is, well, it can't be that bad. You can't be in pain every minute of every day, because people can't conceive of that. Like, how could you be in pain every minute of every day? That's not possible. Well, it is possible, 100%. No, the medications do not take it all away, if only. And sometimes the medications bring on new side effects, some worse than the condition itself. So a lot of people will get off the medication. For me, I got off the gabapentin because it did, when it just started out, it was just this excruciating pain in my foot. And it did, finally that was gone. And then that's when everything else kind of started happening. And then I got on Lyrica. Now, I've gotten off of it before. I've gotten off of Lyrica before because, you know, of what they say about the brain synapses. Like, it keeps your brain from creating new brain synapses. And I'm still kind of researching that because I don't really get it. But I think what it means is, like, as you get older, you know, it's just gonna change your, or it's gonna prevent your brain from creating new brain synapses. I don't know. I'm not a scientist. I'm not a neurologist. So, and when I read that, it scared me. I was like, oh, wow. Well, I guess I should try to get off of it. But I did not realize, sorry, someone is messaging me somehow on airplane mode. The messages still come through, so I need to turn off notifications. But I didn't realize, because when I was on the Lyrica, it did help. It takes a while to kick in, you know, like 3 months or so, sometimes longer for some people. And you get so used to it that you're not sure. It's almost like you don't notice that maybe it's working a little bit, because like I said, it does not take it away at all. It may take reduce it by a quarter. Some people it helps more. But it was when I tried to get off of it, because I was like, well, I don't want to lose my brain, right? Then I was reminded of what I used to endure, and it was a living hell. My legs, just the hurts, just constant muscle pain, like the flu. Like, you know how bad your muscles hurt when you have the flu? Like that, but worse, 24/7. And people can't conceive of that. And so as soon as I was reminded of, oh yeah, this was the life I used to have. It's kind of like people say, say you forget what childbirth was like. I never forgot, by the way. It sucked. But I wanted to have more kids, so I did. But so I got back on the Lyrica because I realized it was helping me. And like I've said before, that level of pain constantly, when that's all that you have, because you can't think about anything else, you can't enjoy anything else when you're at that level of pain. My mind started to go to dark places, like I've said. And I've never, I've been blessed that I have not ever dealt with depression or bipolar disorder or anything like that where it's been depressive. I've been incredibly sad, absolutely, but I have not suffered from like clinical diagnosed depression. Until that happened, then it was like, those were just dark days, dark days, because the pain blocks everything out. It starts, your world becomes very, very small. And you start lashing out at the people that you love, not even like directly, but like there was one time where I was folding laundry, and I never, my husband is always like, when you're in pain, why don't you tell me? And I'm like, because I'm in pain 24/7. So I would literally be like, just ow, 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 ow. Like my legs hurt, my arms hurt, my legs hurt, my arms hurt, da 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 da. The only time he knows, like, when I'm in pain is when I start, like, I'll get your classic kind of nerve pain, which is a sharp shooting pain or something that feels like I'm being stung by a wasp or whatever. And that's when I start, like, it'll happen in my foot, and I'll be like, oh my God, ah! And I'll think, I still to this day, I'm like, something bit me, and I'll be looking, and I'm like, oh, okay, that's just nerve pain. And I'll kind of smack my foot, and I'll be like, no, stop it. And somehow mentally, that kind of pain, I'm able to say, trick my brain or explain to my brain, like, there's nothing there biting you, so back off. You know what I mean? So really the only time he sees it is when that kind of stuff happens. Or he's also learned to read my face, where my eyelids, which I didn't even know, he's the one that discovered that. My eyelids, like right before a flare or when I'm flaring, get real puffy right here. And my eyes get even darker under here. And he'll tell me, he'll be like, you don't feel good, do you? And I'm like, no. But there was one time where I was folding laundry, and remember, I told you all the wonderful housework I used to be able to do, and laundry was a big part of that. We always had laundry. I think everybody always has laundry. It felt like I was just all day folding towels, folding this, folding that. And I was just trying to fold things. And it felt like I had, 40-pound weights on each arm. And I was trying to fold laundry while I was doing that. And after just a couple of passes, I couldn't do it anymore. It exhausted me. And in my brain, I was like, how is this possible? This is not possible. And you start getting down on yourself, and you turn it towards you, because much like your family members can't conceive of your pain or what it's like, you can't conceive of it, right? Especially when you're first starting out, or when you get a new symptom. And I just, my husband asked me, I started crying, as usual. And of course, as usual, I don't have any tissue, so when will I ever learn, y'all? I'm never gonna learn. Never. I mean, I have nothing. I'm just gonna be snotting all over the place. But I started crying. And my husband, it took him a minute to notice. Because it's not like I'm screaming and crying. I'm just like crying, and I've got my head down, because it's just like, in my brain, I'm like, it's just laundry. It's just a tank top. I'm just trying to fold a tank top. How hard can that be? Because it doesn't make any sense. Oh, I'm going to use a mask as tissue. Well, I've got more, so. But, he touched my arm, and he was like, are you crying? Are you okay? And it wasn't directed at him at all. But I just put my arms back, like this, and I was like, screamed, I just want to fold fucking laundry, and because it just seems so stupid, and you question yourself, and that's the thing, it makes you feel like you're crazy. Because you're like, how can it be so hard? I've been doing this all my life. I've been doing this for, 35 years or whatever. And so you start putting the same pressure on yourself that your family or friends or coworkers do. Like, it's just laundry, it can't be that hard. I'm being lazy or dramatic, or and it's none of those things. It's real. You're in pain, and it hurts, and you don't have to fold the fucking laundry. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, I didn't have to fold my underwear. Just ball them up and put them in the damn drawer. You know what I mean? Like, you start making new rules, because some of the shit's just downright stupid, and it doesn't need to be done. You know what I mean? Like, nobody's gonna see your underwear. It doesn't matter if your underwear's got wrinkles in it, right? Who gives a shit? Nobody's gonna see it, okay? Same with your bra, same with, whatever. You you skim where you can. You make the changes where you can. And then the biggest thing and the hardest thing for me is asking for help. You know, if you're not a person where it's hard to ask for help, then that's something you can't relate to, you know. But for me, that was my biggest hurdle, was admitting that I needed help. Like, because it's like, who needs help to fold laundry? Like, how ridiculous is that? You know what I mean? It just sounds so stupid. Like, yeah, can you help me fold a few tank tops? Like, what? Like, you can't do that for yourself, you know? And you learn that I can still do the same things. It's just going to take me a lot longer. So now, you know, a load of laundry, just to do 2 loads of laundry, will take literally an entire day. And then you find that there's no room for anything else, you know, because you have, there's wasps out here waiting for me, y'all. I just got to tell you that. They're hovering, okay? These little bitches love to come after my ass, I swear to God. It's one of the reasons I hate summer. Ugh. They're swarming me. Anyway. So, sorry about that. It's been a rough week. I've been in a bad flare. Some of the worst leg pain that I've had. It was like old school leg pain, like, you know, where I went and bought 2 extra heating pads, so I'd have one for each leg. My knee's killing me, and I'm terrified because insurance runs out the end of this month. I don't know if I'm going to be able to keep all my meds. I know there's some that I'm not going to be able to keep, and one of them is a pain med that helps me a lot. So I'm scared shitless about that. But I still want to make that video. The one with all of the things that the people in my groups shared with me, because it needs to be heard, you know. And I appreciate, I think some of you may have joined my channel because I see my subscribers have gone up, so I just want to say thank you very much for that, because my goal with this channel is just to spread awareness about small fiber neuropathy, number one, because nobody knows about it. Nobody knows about it, but it's actually very common. That's the thing that drives me crazy. It's like when I go and read about it, it's like, you know, it's not, when you go to Wikipedia or whatever, it's like, it talks about, you know, rare or this or that. Well, small fiber neuropathy, it just says common. And I'm like, okay, well, nobody knows about it, just FYI. But then also, I just want this channel to serve, I forgot my chapstick, y'all, so I just want this channel to also serve all the chronic illness communities, and especially the invisible illness, those are particularly difficult because, again, like I said, you look fine. You don't look sick, you know. We hear that a lot. And what I've also seen is some of my younger group members who I mean, they're in their 20s, and I'm just like, I can't even imagine. Being in your 20s and losing your mobility that early in life, especially if you're someone that wants to have kids, it just makes that exponentially harder. But then you'll have doctors say, and friends and family and coworkers, well, you're too young to be sick. What the fuck do you mean I'm too young to be sick? There's kids that get cancer. Do you say that to kids that get cancer? Oh, well, you're too young to have cancer. No, you don't. So why would you say that to somebody like us? Like, it's an invisible illness, you know, and every chronic condition out there, whether it's invisible or not, they all each come with their own burdens, I guess you'd say. And I don't know what it's like to have a visible illness. And I just want to say that with people that suffer with those visible chronic illnesses, I see you, I hear you, I support you as well, because you're still fighting. You're a warrior. You know, we all are. To me, people that deal with chronic illness, chronic pain, chronic fatigue, we're fucking warriors, man, because up until I was let go, I worked a 40-hour work week. Now, there were some days where, you know, I started missing more and more work than I ever had before. But mostly that wasn't because my condition excelled. It was because I finally gave myself permission to listen to my body and give it what it needs, to make my body the priority instead of letting the voices in my head when you're gonna get fired, you're lazy, la 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 la. I finally stopped and listened and just said, you know, this is what my body needs right now. This is what I need. And once I started doing that, that's when my attitude started changing from living inward, you know, inside my head, and feeling bitter and angry because a big part of it for me was like, I already ate my shit sandwich, you know, when I was sexually assaulted by my adopted dad for 7 years on a daily basis. You know what I mean? Like, I did my thing. So I really had convinced myself that I just wasn't going to go through anything else ever again. You know, like, oh, well, at least I got my shit out of the way. I mean, that sucked, but, you know. And so that was a lot of my bitterness. And also because a lot of it was so similar to part of the burdens I had to carry as a child of abuse, because you have to carry it all inside. You can't share it with anybody. You can't tell anybody. So you have to put a smile on your face and go to school and act like everything's fine and pretend like you're not terrified to go home. Because you know what happens when you get home. And I held that secret till I was 15, you know. And that's what a lot of chronic illness triggered, I think, those memories for me and that anger for me, because I felt like I started my life out that way, and now I'm going to end my life out with having to put a smile on my face every day and not letting anyone know the pain I'm in. And I got real angry and real bitter and real fucking resentful, because I was like, what the fuck? This isn't fair. This isn't fair. This isn't fair. This isn't fair. But when I finally started listening to my body and just accepted that you have a chronic condition, your body needs rest, you need to give it rest. Once I started doing that, my mindset changed, and I started accepting. That was the first step to accepting that this is my new normal, and you can go with the flow, or you can try to swim against the current. You know what I mean? And I was so fortunate to have a spouse that if I said, I can't do it, I can't go to work, because there were so many times where I would force myself to get up, get out of bed, force myself to get dressed, crying while I'm doing it, just crying, because it's like, I'm in so much pain. I'm so tired, and thinking about having to, knowing that you're going to be gone for 9 to 10 hours and you won't be able to rest again until you get home. And I would finally just say, I can't do it. I'd lay on the bed and start crying. And I'd be like, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I can't do this. I can't go. I just can't. And my husband was so kind to me, as of course he should be, but so many people don't have that, you know, and I feel bad. I feel so sad. And I just empathize so much with any one of you out there that don't have that support, which is another reason I wanted to start this channel, to spread awareness, because having a support system is the key to success in terms of chronic illness, to me, according to me, in my opinion. It's not yoga, it's not eating yogurt or eating healthy, eating clean, eating vegan. It starts with having loving, supportive people around you. And I can say I'm lucky enough that I haven't had anybody try to shame me for being sick. I can't even imagine that. But there are so many people out there who have families that shame them and make them feel less than because they can't work. You know, some of them get so ill they can't work, you know. Or it's not even that. Like, we could work. As long as you had companies that accepted, like, there's gonna be times where I'm not gonna come in for a couple days, or like working from home would be best because I could save up some of that energy that it takes for me to get up and get dressed and get in the car and get out of the car and walk into the building, where I could just literally waddle over to my desk and that's it, you know? And I think if there were companies out there that really accepted and understood what it was like to have a chronic illness, they could see value in us. Like, I'm a kick-ass customer service person. I love being a customer service person. I love taking care of people and making them feel like, wow, I've got somebody that's really gonna take care of what I need, because I know how important it is to me as a customer or a patient to have someone on the other line that's going to help me. And so that's why I loved being customer service in the healthcare industry. It was really rewarding. And that's really what I'm hoping to find with my new job. But it's scary as hell having a chronic illness and having to start all over, you know. And that's been one of the things that I've been really struggling with since I lost my job, is I have to start all over. Now I'm not protected by the FMLA Act, so I have to go back to the suck it up stage, you know. I can't give my body the permission to rest, you know. But now I'm older than I was before, and I have more problems, you know. Now I've got a thyroid condition, and that still hasn't been taken care of. In fact, I gotta call my doctor today to get my results. But anyway, I'm lucky and fortunate that when I say I can't do it today, my husband says, no problem, baby. Rest. Take care of yourself. You know, I love you. I'll see you later. And there's been times where I've been so sick that he's had to stay home and take care of me, because I may or may not have to go to the emergency room for pain management or whatever. So but anyway, I will figure out a way to compile that list, because I do want my collective group's messages heard, you know, and education and awareness, you know. That's that's all what this is all about. And so I will figure out how to access the Facebook so I can just read it off of there, because again, remember, I don't have a vlogging camera. I'm using my phone, which is why a vlogging camera would really come in handy, because then I could just use my phone. But if I have to, I'll write them down. But writing things down is very painful for my hands, so that will take me a while to compile that list. I could ask my daughter to write it down for me. I know she would. She's also someone that's so great and just takes beautiful care of me. So I'm just very, very fortunate. And then I want to do one where we talk about the C nerve fibers. Those are the small fibers. When people say small fiber neuropathy, it's the C nerve fibers, the unmyelinated ones. So, and that's what makes, one of the things that makes this so different from MS is that MS is where they're losing the myelin. Something is destroying the myelin sheath, that protective layer that's covering those nerves. And MS is an actual disease. Small fiber neuropathy is not. I hate the word disease. And so if there's any of you out there that also hate that word, I'm so sorry. I just don't know, I guess, condition. But some other people might not like that because it doesn't convey the seriousness of it. So, I know I'm never going to be completely correct in the things I say. So just keep in mind, if you could also give me grace, and just know that my intentions are coming from a place of love and empathy and just wanting to educate the world on this and create awareness, because that is when we're going to find treatments, hopefully get doctors and researchers more engaged in finding causes, because one of the things that we also hear that all my groups mentioned was that once you get that diagnosis of small fiber neuropathy, most of them are like, okay, we're done. And it's like, no, that's just a symptom. Like, what's causing it? Well, you don't have this, or this. They have their little checklist, and they're like, so, we don't know. Bye. And then they toss you out. And it's like, well, could you give me the prognosis? Like, what's the prognosis? What? No, we don't know. Nobody knows. You'll probably be fine. Well, does it progress? I don't know. I can say for me, it has. It's just so frustrating. It's just frustrating. Woo-wee. But, and then I want to remake the video about who I was before small fiber neuropathy, because once I looked back, because it's the most viewed, it's got the most views, and so I was watching it because I wanted to find out, why. And I love it. Thank you so much. But I wanted to know why, and I'm still not sure why, but I realized when I was watching it that I didn't really explain at all who I was before this. So that was not a good title. But what I did do well was explain what it felt like, before I got sick, and what it felt like after. And does anyone else remember the last day they felt whole? Because I just find that very interesting. It's still so intriguing to me, like, that I remember that and forget so much other stuff, But anyway, so I am working on, my goal is to get this, what's the word, like, it's like getting the ship tightened up. I know that is not right, but I think you can figure out what I mean when I say that. Like, like, we're gonna get this gelling, better, where I come more prepared and stuff like that. But like I said, I've been in, basically my body went back to 4 years ago when my leg pain was at its worst. It was like, and it's just been awful, and there's no amount of medication that is going to change it. So, but I think I am on a incline, feeling better. I don't know, y'all. I don't know what's going to happen to me if I can't keep some of my medication. Who knows? We're on a journey, man. But anyway, I want to say thank you to my new subscribers. At some point, I am going to get a vlogging camera. I probably won't be having any. This probably will continue to be in my YouTube studio because I don't have a space in my home for anything else. I think my husband's thinking about a few things. He's really helpful. And I also want to do a video where we talk about caregivers, and I want to get him in on that because it is definitely, especially when you're a spouse, I know it is so hard for them to see the good ones, not the ones that treat you like shit because you can't go to work. I'm talking about the good ones here. It's so hard to see the person that you love hurting and not knowing what in the hell to do or how to fix it or how to help them. When they've got a stomach flu and they're vomiting, you know exactly what to do. Get a cool rag, get a bowl, or hold their hair while they're hanging over the toilet. Get them some Pepto-Bismol. You know what to do in those cases. But with something like this, and so there's a lot of videos that I want to do. But I think I'm going to call it a day for right now. Mostly because I have to go to the bathroom. I got to pee. So, that's the story of my life. That's what happens when you've had 3 kids and you're 51. You have to pee a lot, so that's fun. That's why road trips aren't really my jam. But I hope y'all have a beautiful day. I really do. It's Friday. It's Father's Day weekend. Much love to you fathers out there. Thank you for being good fathers and good daddies and taking care of your babies and taking care of those mamas. I hope you have the best Father's Day ever. Okay? Mwah. Bye.